What's up guys, Jonny May here and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you how to take the lead sheet for Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and transform it into a beautiful jazz ballad. Now I get a lot of students who come to me and say, Jonny, how do I take my lead sheet melody and chords and make it sound more interesting, more beautiful? And what you need to know is that there are 8 different arranging techniques that I use to accomplish this, and inside today's quick tip I'm going to teach you all 8 of these. So let's go ahead and dive in. Alright, the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the standard lead sheet. This is probably what you will see if you look at a lead sheet. And what you'll notice is, we're playing this in C. Okay. And these are your basic chords, alright? So I want to quickly go through your basic lead sheet and then we're going to talk about how to develop it. So we're playing this in the key of C major. Go ahead and play a C major 7 chord. This is usually the first chord you'll see. C, E, G, and B. Then you'll go to a 6 chord, usually like an A minor 7. Then you'll go to like a 2 chord in the key of C, D minor 7, and then you'll have a 5 chord in the key of C, which is a G7. Okay? This is called a 1-6-2-5 chord progression or a turnaround progression. We talk a ton about this in our courses over at pianowithjonny.com. Now, most of these lead sheets just continue to repeat this chord progression. And, it works fine, but there's just so much more you can do with it. So we'll talk about that in a second. In terms of the melody, here's how the melody goes. Kind of skipping up, walking down. Okay. Got the lesson sheet music up here on the top left. If you read sheet music, okay, it's kind of skipping up to the melody notes. And then G on the top. Real simple. We'll get to the arranging part here in a second. Okay, C, G, C, E, and then we got this walk down. G7, okay, and then E minor 7. To an A minor 7, and we do this quick turnaround. All right. You can figure this melody out as well by ear. It's not a very hard melody. Now I want to get to the next step, which is how to arrange it, how to make it sound beautiful and jazzy. And I mentioned in the intro that there are 8 techniques, and here they are: extensions, alterations, slides, passing chords, melodic fills, sixths, tritone subs, and secondary dominants, okay? And we're going to talk about each one of these and where I use it inside the arrangement. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel here, hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. So, how do we use these techniques in the arrangement? Well, here it is, guys. This is the fully notated jazz ballad arrangement, or I call it the cocktail jazz style. And then what we've done is I put little boxes above each technique, and basically we have these little acronyms. This would be E for extension, this would be S for slide, PC would be passing chord, A would be alteration, right? MF is melodic fill. So I'm actually showing you exactly where we use each of these devices. But we're going to go note by note here, make sure you understand what we're doing. Okay, so very first part of the arrangement, we're going to start very simply. And you want to do this whenever you're arranging a jazz standard. Start simple and build into something really beautiful. Okay, so nice open fifth on the bottom, C, G, and C. Okay, have your, that's going to be your E, and then right here, oh, that's beautiful. Love, love, love this A minor 11 chord, okay? And what we're doing is we're taking that A minor 7 we had before, and we're actually spreading the notes out. That's a regular A minor 7, but we're adding a D, which is called the 11. Okay, this is called a chord extension, and it's a very common note that we add to minor 7 chords. Okay, so keep this in mind. The way to figure out your 11th is you can simply count 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. We build chords in thirds, and that's why we call this an 11. You could think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's what we do. In fact, I put a little guideline down here at the bottom. You see down here, minor 7th chords, you can add the 9 and the 11, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Okay, if you want to learn more about, chord extensions, you can over at Piano with Jonny. We've got exercises on a lot of these topics. So, have yourself A minor 11. We're going to go single note C. Oh, beautiful. D minor 11 chord. It's the same chord we saw earlier in the lead sheet. It's that 2 chord up here, but we're adding a G to it. We call this the 11 of the chord. So this is how we voice the chord or spread the notes out of the chord. We've got the root and the 5th, okay? We've got the 3rd and the 7th. These are just the normal notes from your D minor 7 chord, but then the really cool note there is that G, which is the 11, and this also is the melody note, okay? Come down melody, G, F, and then Little slide there on the E's, really nice. And then check this out. Okay, really nice, okay? What are we doing here? Basically, we have the extension on the D minor 11 chord, a little walk down. This is going to be a slide on that melody, and then passing chord. Okay, instead of going to that G7 right away, which we had earlier, we're going to go to what's called a G7 sus chord. Okay, it's a way of sort of prolonging our G7 chord. We're also adding a 9 to this chord, which is very common on dominant chords. So this is called a G9, okay, with a suspended third. That would be a normal G9. We're going to suspend it there, and then resolve to a G7 with a flat 9. Okay, this is called an altered chord. Okay, so you can see all of this above: passing chord, altered chord. Okay, next chord. Chord extension. This is our C major 7 chord, but we're adding a couple really cool colors to this. We're adding a 13 actually to this chord to make it sound really, really nice. You can also add a D down there, the 9, which is also quite nice. Okay, so again, all about chord colors, what to add. I did put a note down here on major 7 chords that you can also add the 9 and the 13. Okay, really, really nice. Again, if you want to learn more about chord extensions, you can over at pianowithjonny.com. All right, so that's the chord. A minor 7, same chord, we're going to grab the 11 just like that. Okay, and then a really lovely A minor 11. We're on the same chord, but we're just spreading out the notes of the chord. You got the 11, the 7, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 3rd. Okay, all notes from the chord except we're adding the 11. Okay. Oh, D minor 11 chord again, same chord we had earlier, and we do this little fill. Okay, from here, some melodic fill, MF. Just using notes from the chord, and then, okay, this is another passing chord. Okay, instead of going right to a G7, we make it a G7 sus4. Okay, we're also adding a 9 and a 13. Again, you could do this on dominant chords. I did put a note down here on which chord extensions you can add to dominant chords, the 9 and the 13. So that's exactly what we're doing there. And then we resolve this down to a G13. Okay, it's a G dominant 7 chord with a 13. And then we're adding a flat 9. Really, really nice. This is also called an upper structure. It's like an E major chord on top of a G7, which sounds really great. We'll keep going here, but by the way, if you're enjoying this little lesson here, you can learn a lot more about the cocktail jazz style or the jazz ballad style in our jazz ballad learning track over at Piano with Jonny. We've got 22 courses on this topic. These are 2 to 3 hour long courses, and they're a deep dive on this topic. All right, final phrase. Ah, love this. What we're doing here is we're grabbing a C major 7 chord, we're adding a 9 to it, the D. Little walk down. This is a passing chord. It's a nice way to walk down to an A minor chord. It's like a G major with an added 2. You see that? And it's also over a B. So it's a G add 2 over B. It's like an inverted chord. Beautiful A minor 11 chord. Again, it's all the notes from A minor except we're adding a D, which is your 11. And then over here, this is a rootless voicing in the left hand. Beautiful. A minor 11. We're still playing an A minor chord, but we have a 9 in the chord now. And we actually took the 11 out here. Okay, next phrase. Okay, this is actually really simple. We're going to go root 5th on the bottom, D and A, to a simple chord shell, 3rd and 7th. If you want to learn more about chord shells, you can over at Piano with Jonny. And then we're going to do some 6th down the piano. Okay, and then ooh, I love this one, okay? We're targeting a G7 chord, which comes from the lead sheet, but we're gonna add a 13 to the chord, so that's called an extension. We got an E there, but we're also gonna slide the E as well to make it a little bluesy. Okay, you see that? And then a little passing chord. This is an F7, getting us to our 3 chord, which is an E13. This is also called a tritone substitute, okay? It's the substitute of a B7, okay, which leads you to an E7, okay? So F7, it can be substituted for a B7. We talk a lot about tritone substitutes at Piano with Jonny, okay? So that's going to be that chord. Grab that. E7 is going to be our chord. In our original lead sheet, we called this an E minor 7, but we're going to turn it into an E dominant 7, which is called the secondary dominant concept, okay? It's a way to move to chords using the dominant chord, which is very nice, okay? So E13, we have an extension there, the 13. Ooh, B flat 13 is the name of this chord. This is also a tritone substitute for the E7 chord, which leads you to an A chord. This is where we're going, is an A chord. Then we're going to do a little passing chord here on the A to prolong our A7 like that. Okay, this is an A13 sus4. Again, it's a dominant chord. We're suspending it. You can slide a little blues note there. Really, really nice. Okay. Ooh, this is an altered dominant chord. This is an A7, flat 13, sharp 9. Very, very common combination. We call this an upper structure. Again, you can learn more about these upper structure combinations over at Piano with Jonny. And then finally, D minor 9 is the name of this chord. Nice spread out. We actually have an 11 in this chord as well. So it's a real spread out D minor 11. Okay, check this one out, guys. Oh, love this one. This is beautiful. This is a D minor 11 chord, super spread out. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 7, 9, and 5. Okay? Okay, and then finally G13 sus 4, very spread out. I've got root 7, 7, 11, 13, and root. Okay, and then this really lovely chord. One of my favorite dominant chords is a G7 with a flat 9 and a sharp 11. Okay, it's a really, really lovely combination. Okay, now this concludes the arrangement. It's super beautiful. I want you to work on putting this together. And then lastly, we're going to play it with a backing track. This lesson comes with a backing track. In fact, you can download it at the link below. I'll put a link to it, over at Piano with Jonny. So here we go with the backing track. Here it is. Here it is. A minor 11, passing chords, E7, B flat. Well, this concludes this week's quick tip, and if you enjoyed this lesson, I want to encourage you to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 700 step-by-step lessons in cocktail jazz, jazz swing, Latin jazz, blues, improvisation, theory, technique. It is the full learning platform for all playing levels. We also do monthly live events, including a live Q&A where our students can ask me questions. We do a live workshop lesson. We do student assessments where you can send me a video and I'll give you personalized feedback. We do weekly challenges for our students, and we have an amazing community. So go check out pianowithjonny.com, and I'll see you in the next one.